Welcome to Deadly Night Tales. The Mirror by Johan Fowler.
It lived in the mirror, a featureless expression, translucent washed-out ivory, like a skull 1,000 years worn and no eyes. But I knew it watched me, just as it had watched my mother and grandmother before her. The thing, whatever it was, crawled out of its silvery refuge every night. It peeled back my soul layer by layer and stabbed its spiny mandible into my flesh, through muscle and sinew, until it could scratch its falsehood into my bones. Sleep paralysis. You can sense all, but you can't move, can't resist, can't fight back. But it never hurt me. How could it? It relied on me to feed it. It loved me. The mirror, standing in all its innocence on my dressing table in the corner of the bedroom. 1,000 times I wanted to throw it out into the trash. But my mother's parting words, her final words before she passed on to a better place, always came back to me. "Just look in the mirror and you'll see me looking back," she'd said before she died. It wasn't my mother's face that I saw. It was the insidious thing that dwelled in its depths. My mother had never put the mirror in her bedroom. It had always been hung on the living room wall. She told me that she couldn't abide having it in the bedroom. Mother said she didn't like it staring at her. Every night for 5 years, it materialised above my paralysed body and took its pleasure. The irony was that I never felt afraid to go to bed. That must have been its dominion. Every morning, I would wake from my disturbed slumber and remember every chilling detail I had endured. But there was never a mark or contusion on my skin, and soon afterwards only a fleeting memory of the night before. That was its way. I started to write down my memories and feelings every morning when I woke. That's how I began to build up a picture. So I made a plan to fight back. I would stay awake all night and see how that unfolded. The thing only came when I was asleep. Staying awake, could I deprive it of its host? Could I really stay awake all night? No. By 3 o'clock my eyelids are getting heavy, my mind is wandering off into a half-sleep, and things begin to stir. The mirror is misting over. The tendrils of its malevolent energy are slinking towards the bed. I fall into a deeper, trance-like state, and it solidifies out of the ether, a spectre floating above my helpless body. It sees its chance to take control. The torment is vivid, much more than normal. The beast is punishing me for my attempt at retaliation. It strangles me with its bony digits. I can feel them sinking through my flesh and manipulating the vertebrae in my neck, teasing its way through the cracks into my spinal cord, taking over my senses, paralysing me. 2 hours later, I wake up in a cold sweat. The sun is rising over the horizon. The thing has retreated back into its lair, and I am drained of energy. But my memory is lucid and frightful. Once again, I force myself to sleep all day, which is not difficult because the episode has left me dreadfully tired. I rise in the early evening and go about my usual business. I will take a pair of heavy pinking shears into the bedroom. If I can tempt it out into a solid form, if I can stay awake long enough, maybe I can do some damage. At 10 o'clock, I sit in front of the mirror naked and brush my hair. I look deep into the glass and sense it staring back. Now it's starting to hate me. Tonight I will stay awake, but I will pretend to be asleep. I read until midnight and then shut my eyes, lying quietly, not moving. I even pretend to snore. At 2 o'clock, when I am feeling sleepy but still awake, I feel the sheet sliding down across my skin, but I don't move. The entity is starting to solidify, and I have a conscious thought that the trick is working. My fingers grip the scissors in anticipation. I feel its talon touch my skin, low down on my belly, and start to drag its way up my torso. This is new. The sharp point snags on my skin. It isn't painful, but my flesh creeps. Still, I wait, opening my eyes slowly. The thing's face is above mine. Empty eye sockets, ragged holes where a nose should be, and a round maw for a mouth, 1,000 needle-like teeth. Even in the darkness I can see it. An iridescent glow exudes from its flesh, sticky with stinking snot-like moisture. Now its digit is pushing deeper into the valley between my breasts. It hurts, and I quickly grab it with my left hand. At the same time, I bring the scissors up and chop into the claw. It pulls back, shrieking silently, but the serrated edges of the scissors dig in and a piece of its flesh is sheared off before slopping down onto my chest. The entity demanifests almost instantly, spinning in a vortex and funneling backwards into the mirror. The mirror cracks with a loud bang, leaving just a single fracture that fans out from the centre and runs to the edge. I turn on the bedside light. The piece of rotten flesh is gone, but a drop of blood oozes from a tiny contusion on my skin. I lay awake until the sun rises, terrified, not daring to move. In the morning light, the mirror has repaired itself. The glass is hazy, angry. I make a decision. The mirror will go. I get dressed quickly, then put a black bin liner over it. It's heavy, much heavier than it should be. It knows. I carry it to the car for the short journey to the cliff. The air in the car is thick and repressive, even with a window open. When I arrive at the cliff top, I can hear the waves crashing against the rocks 100 feet below. Seagull screams carry on the wind as it rips over the edge of the cliff. The mirror is heavier now. I can barely lift it from the car. I pull off the covering and take a final defiant look at the glass. It is inky, and the thing is staring back at me. With all my strength, I hurl it over the edge, and it seems like an eternity before I hear it explode, shattering against the rocks below. I feel an uneasy sense of relief as I turn away. Then, seconds later, a foreboding feeling, a feeling that something is wrong. I turn back around. Something that looks like a giant ragged bat with a wingspan of 20 feet or more is hovering on the updraft of the air, its wings tattered and leathery. A wizened body and an eyeless head that is screeching and shrieking, with its dripping claws flashing in the morning sunlight. The demon glides toward me with intent, until it is only a few feet away from my face. I can taste its fetid breath on my tongue, and I am more fearful now than when it was sequestered in the mirror. It screams defiantly in my face, then rises up and turns away, disappearing over the edge. I run to my car and quickly drive home. I'm so drained that as soon as I hit the bed, I fall into a deep sleep, the most restful for as long as I can remember. When I wake up, I feel relief and slowly open my eyes. I roll over and sit up on the edge of the bed. The room is too quiet. Something makes me turn and look into the corner, toward the mirror, where the thing is staring right back at me.
Thank you for listening to Deadly Night Tales. Please like, subscribe and follow us to help others find the show. And if you have a creepy story that you'd like a chance to have read on the show, please check the show notes for submission information. Thank you, good night and sleep well.